give you the basics of the electrical system in an RV. Troubleshooting when things might go wrong, basically how it works. He's an electrician, so I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about that.
So your RV has two electrical systems. It's kind of a hybrid. Part of your RV is wired with 12 volts DC, like your car, and part of your RV is wired with 120 volts, possibly 240 volts, depending on your rig, just like your home. We have a 50 amp plug because our old RV required a 50, so we have this adapter. We always have our surge arrestor and circuit analyzer. What you should do when you get to an RV park, before you plug your unit in, plug in your analyzer. And once it tells you if there's an issue, it'll show red. It has the things here to tell you what each thing says. But when you see all green, I'm protected and my power is good. It's wired correctly. So once you see that's all good, then in an RV park, you should probably turn your breaker off, plug in, but our breaker is in the house. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in here. So now our 120 volt system is on. So comes with a 12 volt battery. You can see ours there. It's an Interstate, came with it. Interstate's good batteries. This is still lead acid. I think some of the new RVs come with lithium batteries. You can actually take just about any RV off grid as long as you've got plenty of battery capacity. It runs your lights inside. It runs your furnace controls. So if it's cold, if you have propane and a good battery, it will light your furnace. Ours, it runs the refrigerator all the time. If you have a different style refrigerator that is gas or electric, it will run the ignition system for the gas side of your refrigerator. If you have ignition on your stove, it may do that, but you have some parts of your rig that are run off the 12 volts, so you can go off grid, and then some are 120. That's why I said it was hybrid. On our rig, yours probably does too. This is a battery disconnect switch, so if I want to totally cut all power off inside and out for the 12 volt system, I would cut it off here and then unplug it, and there is no power going anywhere.
If you go inside and have no power, like on our last camping trip, I couldn't get the lights to work. I didn't know what was happening. What had happened was I slid one of these totes and bumped this and flipped it to the off mode. So if you have no power inside and can't figure out why, see if you have either forgotten to turn this back on or if you've bumped it or something and it's off.
Things that would be 12 volts. Your lights are 12 volts. Your water pump was 12 volts. Your test system, your awning, your slide out is 12 volts. Igniter for your water heater. Our refrigerator is 12 volts exclusively. We also have a solar panel on ours that charges the battery, so we're always building a charge. Somewhere in your camper, close to where your power hooks up, some of them are right inside the door, but you will have this somewhere in your rig. And this is your electrical panel. You have fuses, like automotive style fuses. You can see ours has mostly 15s, a 30 and a 40. I do keep a few spare fuses. That is 12 volt fuses. I keep spare fuses in my little toolbox. On this side is our breakers, and that is our 120 volt power. If you have a 50 amp rig, you probably have some 220 volt stuff. This is the electrical like your home. This is the electrical like your automobile. If you have something that don't work, you've checked your battery power, then you could maybe have blown some of these fuses. Things that might cause that is a wire that gets skint or chewed by a rodent, or sometimes refrigerators, the igniter sometimes will if they're bent and not doing right. So you may blow a fuse on the 12 volt system, or you may trip a breaker on the 120 volt system. If things like your air conditioner freezes up, it may trip one of these breakers. So you can find these and check what's going on. And if you have an electrical issue, this would be where to start. Check fuses, check breakers, and this would be where to start.
We have had a camper before that we would, if you run too many things off of one plug, like if I was using a hair dryer and had the crock pot going at the same time and plugged up my curling iron, that would be too much on one circuit. Or is that called a circuit? Yeah, one circuit. He's the electrician, I'm not. One circuit, and it may flip a breaker. And if so, you're just going to have to turn off one of those things and use one at a time, flip the breaker back on, and then you'll be good to go.
Don't run your air conditioner in your coffee pot sometimes. It just depends on how the circuits are laid out. She has tripped a breaker with an air conditioner and a curling iron on in our old camper. We've not tripped one in this rig yet, but chances we've kind of learned that lesson. So yeah, if you trip breakers, then just take some of the load off. It's typically user caused when you trip a breaker.
User being me.
One thing I would recommend having in your toolkit, I got this little Klein because you can see it has 12 volt DC or up to 240 volt AC. So if I want to check a circuit, you turn it on, I stick it in a plug, and this one will light up and tell me I'm good for 120 volts AC right there. If I have a DC problem, if I want to check a light out, I can check and see if it's a lamp or not, or you can check a lot of things, but you need some kind of little multimeter in your toolbox. One thing we've been asked about is a receptacle that will not reset. You can see here, this receptacle actually does not have the buttons like a GFI typically, but because of where it is in relation to the sink, I know this is GFI protected. So how they do that, somewhere in your camper, probably in the bathroom, is a ground fault receptacle. So if moisture gets on a cord or whatever, that is a test button. So I tested and that tripped. So if I drop the hairdryer in the sink, it's going to trip this ground fault protection. That button tests it. And if it does pop and turns on, that means it's tripped. You can reset it. Sometimes these will not reset. And if they will not reset, I've got ants, typical ants in a camper this time of year. So if you have one of these that will not reset, you're going to have to change it. This thing has a little circuit board in it that's watching for the ground fault. It's got internal protections. So if one of these will not reset, you're going to have to change it. You can buy ground fault receptacles at your local hardware store, but sometimes in an RV, they're made a little different. They work the same, but because everything in an RV is smaller, they typically are thinner. You can buy these RV ones probably at an RV dealer, RV service center, or you can order them. So how do I change it? So what you need is somebody here with a meter. This one, since it is good, see, I've got power there, but if it is tripped, the power goes away. If the indicator shows when it's tripped, then I know there is still power here. You're going to have to do some way to make sure you isolate this circuit. So a couple of things you can do is turn off all your breakers, unplug your cord. This will be 120 volts only. So I can turn off the 120 volt system and leave the 12 volt system on, and I still have lights. This is powered from your receptacle that you've plugged in to the pedestal at your campground or at your home if you've got it. But since this one has the indicator, I know it's tripped, and if this one would not reset, I will go back to my power panel and I will start turning off breakers until that one goes off. You can see breaker number 1, I turned it off and the light went off on my GFI. So that means there is no power here. So then what I'm going to do is go through the steps you would go through to change this receptacle. So we just finished that video. We're taking a hike on our trail in the woods, and I thought of something I want you to do. If your GFI is tripped and will not reset, before you change it, go to everything in your camper and unplug coffee maker, toaster oven. If you have something plugged into one of the downstream receptacles that has a ground fault in it, try to unplug everything and try to reset again. Could be something like your toaster oven or your coffee pot with a bad element that could be having a ground fault, that could be tripping your main ground fault, and it's doing its job. So make sure you unplug everything. If it still won't reset, then we need to start by changing the receptacle.
And this is how concerned we are about your electrical safety, to stop on our hike to give you this little bit of info.
Future us.
This is future us. Now continuing with the video now.
You need a little screwdriver, a flat head. We'll pull the cover off. Our receptacle is fine. There's nothing wrong, but I want you to see what you would do. So you will take the cover off and you'll see there's two more screws here. One of them is, these are a square shank. A residential would be a Phillips head, but we're going to take the screws out. And one of these GFIs going bad is not uncommon for a couple of reasons. One reason is because they're all really cheap these days. Not cheap to buy, but definitely cheaply built. And they do have a lifetime span. So if things have tripped them a time or two, then sometimes you just burn up the control circuits in them. So there is the receptacle. You pull it out. You can see I've got two white wires and two black wires, and then of course the ground. So on a GFI, you have a primary and then secondary. So when this power comes to this one GFI, this is the only GFI protection on the circuit. The first receptacle in the circuit is ground fault protected. So I need to make sure as I lift these wires that I pay attention to which one is landed where a primary is and which one is landed where the secondary is. And they will say on the back, line and load. So make sure that you don't get these crossed up because it will mess up your electrical system. The line side comes straight from the power circuit, so it comes straight from the breaker. The load side goes out to all the other receptacles that you want to have ground fault protected by this receptacle. In this camper, if I drop my curling iron in the sink full of water, it will trip this GFI. If I'm in the kitchen working in that plug and I drop my curling iron into this sink, it will also trip this GFI in the kitchen. This is the first one in the circuit, and this one ground fault protection is protecting everything wired to the load side. But you could trip a GFI from your kitchen and the receptacle not have the ground fault protection. It is just on the load side of the one that is. So in our camper, we have one GFI receptacle, and everything else that needs one runs through this one. So if you in the kitchen and that plug's not working, go to your bathroom and try to reset your GFI. That's the first thing to do because that's probably what happens. So if I trip this one, nothing else on the circuit works either. So once you take this out, you pay attention to where it says line and load, and you make sure your white wires will always be landed on a silver screw. Your black wires will be landed on a bronze colored or brass colored screw, and you will have a line and a load in a GFI receptacle. So I would mark this somehow with a marker or a little piece of tape to show me which one's which. Then you take all these screws out to get your new receptacle, wire it just like this one came out. And then you have to put it all back together, line up your screws. This little spacer is a little bit aggravating at times to get lined back up, but I'm sure we can. There we go. Top one in. Get the bottom one in. Try to get both screws started before you tighten one down so it's easier to manipulate a little bit to make sure everything's lined up. If you have a GFI that will not reset, you really have no option but to change it. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of confidence in how to check it and how to change it. Main thing is do it with the breakers off or the power unplugged. And that is safely doable by anyone. So as I put this in, your camper has a 12-volt system. When you are driving, if your vehicle is properly equipped, your vehicle is actually charging your camper battery a little bit with a trickle charge. When you're plugged in to shore power with your 120-volt system, your camper comes with a converter that takes the 120-volt system and charges your battery and powers your 12-volt system while you're plugged in so you don't run your battery dead. Now then, we've changed our receptacle. We're going to turn our breaker back on. You can see here we still have a red light, so that means it's tripped. I mashed the reset and I've got power back. Put my meter in. You can see I'm good at 120 volts. So now we can dry our hair, which happens with me a lot. Power's back on. So that's basically how your RV electrical system works. Just have a little bit of confidence that whatever the issue is, you can deal with it yourself, and you can save a lot of money from service guys and feel a little more accomplished when you do things on your own.